Okay.
Is
Can I begin,
your
ma'am?
screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you.
Very good morning to everyone present here. This is GM Prem Kumar, postgraduate in English from Loyola College, Chennai. While having the limited time frame that I've been given, I'll quickly move on to the paper presentation. So the topic of my paper is efficacy of mobile learning in the time of pandemic. Moving to the next slide, I would like to give you the background and introduction of the study. Well, there is no doubt that ICT, information and communication technology, has become a necessary piece of regular day to day existence and has changed the learning environment to the degree that digital literacy has become a practical prerequisite almost for all qualifications. Traditionally, in the context of education, both the activities, learning and teaching, have been viewed as a direct interpersonal classroom activities. The incorporation of technology in education has not only changed how students learn, but also changed the teaching pedagogy by promoting collaborative activities beyond four walls. Well, smartphones are one such examples of these technological advancements that we are witnessing evidently. These days, mobile learning has become a mainstream learning framework for education, particularly in higher education, due to its multi usefulness, trademark, and viability everywhere around the world. COVID 19 has impacted the world in a way that no one, literally no one, could have ever anticipated. With the nation having been in a condition of either a complete or partial lockdown for almost more than a year presently, this has not this has just confined students' actual admittance into the education institutions, but has not stopped schools or universities from giving training to the students virtually. Thanks to the technology which the Indian education system has embraced with open enthusiasm. Mobile learning. Well, mobile learning is a new education field that addresses the use of various mobile devices in teaching and learning. Mobile learning can be defined as I quote, the acquisition of any knowledge and skills through the use of mobile technology anywhere and anytime. Mobile assisted language learning, what we call as MAL, implies the use of handheld devices in language learning that appears due to widespread ownership of mobile technologies, which enables ESL learners to learn language effectively in situations whether it is formally or informally. M Learning just permits schools and universities to extend their effort to reach great number of students by essentially adapting to digital pedagogy. Even students from different regions or geographical areas can interact with the language teachers in a virtual mode. Now you may question how this online and offline pedagogy can at some point meet another. Well, this is the point that we are going to discuss. If you see both online and offline pedagogy, both are not so different. They are almost same. Like the actual classroom, students here follow the periodic timetable for their virtual classes. Teachers switch exercises. Students get breaks. They take up evaluation, something intended only for online mode. And most importantly, all these things occurs while they are at their home. Students here, in the online platform, are not so passive like the students which we see in traditional language learning classes. Okay, they are independent. They create their own data with the help of internet and the device that they have. Well, quickly move on to the next slide. I'll present the main aim of this study. The aim of this study is to explore what educational purpose students use their mobile phones and how they perceive the use of mobile phones for English language learning. The objectives of study are follows: to examine students' experience of using mobile phones for educational purpose. The second one is to explore students' experience of using mobile phones for learning English. And third is to find students' perception of using mobile phones for learning purpose in the future. The hypothesis that I put forward here is the use of mobile phones serves as a catalyst for effective remote learning in the time of pandemic. Research methodology. The researcher that I had used research survey method in the current study. The sample populations are undergraduate and postgraduate students from various colleges like Loyola, Patrician, Stella Maris, Ethiraj, WCC, Y.D. Millet Government College for Women in Chennai. The total number of students I included in the study are 50. These students belong to different educational institutions and different socio-economical background. Moving to the major findings of the research. Next slide, ma'am. Out of 100% of the sample population I took, 58% of the respondents were from cities, 22% resides in village, and 20% from towns and semi-urban areas. When asking about the digital tools that the students use for learning in the pandemic, almost 100% of the students have mobile phones in their home. Out of that 100%, 72% of the students responded that they use only smartphones for learning. Well, just 28% have access to PC or laptops for having for online education, despite having mobile phones for other purposes. 90% of the students agreed that they use mobile phones to learn English, and 10% denied the fact. When asked about the type of learning material that these students access through mobile phones, 48% said they use videos a lot, 34% said they use ebooks a lot, 6% use e-journals, and 4% use blogs, whereas 2% use e-newspapers and other stuffs. While discussing about the amount of time that these respondents spend using mobile phones for learning purposes, out of 100%, 18% of the students spent just 1 or 2 hours, whereas combination of 82%, I repeat, 82% of the students spend more than 3 hours for learning purposes. While asking about the increase of timing in the use of mobile phones in the pandemic, out of 100%, 90% of the students agreed that the use of mobile phones, the time frame of using mobile phones have drastically increased in compared with the normal time. The next thing is students' perception on advantage and disadvantage of mobile phones. Well, out of 100%, 54% of the students felt that portability and mobility of the mobile phones as a major advantage of it, whereas 28% felt the user friendliness of mobile phones to be the major advantage, 10% felt the cost efficient factor of mobile phones are the advantage, and 8% felt the mobile phones are very interactive. When it comes to disadvantage, almost 50% of the students felt the network issue that they I know they come across. We come across these network issues to be the major advantage. 34% felt the digital divide among the students, as the major disadvantage. 8% felt the technical issues, and 8% felt the lack of technical knowledge that they possess for using online classes. Well, the next thing is student perception on effectiveness of mobile phones in enhancing ESL skills. When I asked students about did the mobile phone increase their interest to learn, 44% students agreed that this usage of mobile phones increased their interest to learn the language, 6% disagreed, and 50% were neutral. When discussing about the skills which they were able to enhance using mobile phones, they said listening and reading skills were the two only skills which most of the students were able to enhance using the mobile phones in the pandemic compared with speaking or writing skills. The last data that I collected was what does the student think on the usage of mobile phones in the future. To this question, almost 80% of the students feels that the use of mobile phones in higher education in future will be very, very higher, whereas 4% felt that the usage may or may not be high, while 16% remained neutral about this. Well, I like to conclude that the findings show that the vast majority of students use mobile phones for learning, which are drastically increased in recent times due to the pandemic. Although this is just an exploratory study on learners' perception, it provides teachers and educators in Chennai with useful information regarding remote teaching and learning methods. A mobile tech empowered training system will be a pandemic proof solution and can continue even after in the post pandemic times. Although mobile devices offer a variety of advantages that TSL learners in particular can exploit, there are still certain challenges that we have to come across. Thus, M-learning can only support, complete, and assist traditional learning rather than replacing it. I think I will conclude here. If there are any questions, I think you are more than welcome. Thank you for the opportunity.
Any,
I
any,
have, um,
Yes, Mr.
yeah, I have
yes,
a question. it's like if like how why do you think that students say that mobile phones have enhanced listening and reading skills more than other two skills like reading and speaking skills? Why do
Mhm.
you think so?
So, first of all, thank you for this question. I think this is what the major crux of the research is all about. Ma'am, if you can just go to the third slide, ma'am. Sorry, fourth slide. Next slide. Fourth slide.
Is this a sidebar?
No, ma'am, can go to next slide, ma'am. Yeah, this is the thing. Okay. See, first I want everyone to look at the data, but I've been displayed here. Okay, you could see that most of the students, okay, if you ask most of the students use mobile phones only to attend the online classes, okay, maybe through Gmeet or Zoom or whatever it is. So when we attend these kind of online classes, there are only two skills which we use predominantly. One is listening skills to listen to the lecture what our professors are giving to us. Second one is the reading skills. As we don't have notes, we tend to go for e-materials, and the reading skills is enhanced. Having this in mind, this online class doesn't give a chance for students to develop their speaking skills and writing skills. Most of the students doesn't have opportunity to speak up in online class because they feel hesitant, and again writing skills, and we all know how we write exams in these times. So again, there is also a dip in writing skills. Another important factor is just look at the percentage of neutrals over here. Okay, when it comes to listening, so 38, 48 for the speaking, and reading is 34, and again writing is 30. I think there is a considerable amount of students are neutral when it comes to these factors. Just because this reflects the fact that most of the students are still not aware of the usage of mobile phones. They still are not efficient in using the mobile phones effectively for language learning. Still, they are in a learning curve where they are yet to use these mobile phones for different aspects. So, as a teacher or as a facilitators, it is in our hands to give certain kind of activities which helps students to improve these skills. Also, I think I have answered your question, Ms. Ritu.
Yeah, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Prem Kumar. So we will move on to the next presentation. So I would like to call upon Niharika Singh.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes, Dr. Niharika Singh.
Yeah, a very good morning to all of you. I'm extremely sorry for not presenting, a PowerPoint presentation because of some technical problems. I could not, do it in time. But then I would like to just inform you the title of my paper presentation is Mobile Learning, and it's the role that we're discussing over here for my mobile learning is as a new online learning tutor. Now, learning has become simple because mobile phones are easily accessible and affordable by all the stakeholders, and it's a known fact all over the world. And with the growing technology, what has happened, the usage has accelerated, and when the pandemic hit, the usage became, it doubled or tripled, and right now we all are reaping the benefits. Now, when you talk about mobile learning, you find that learners of all levels are comfortable with mobile learning, and they prefer a mobile more than a desktop or a laptop or a tablet or any other gadget that is being used for learning. Now, when you talk about mobile technology, basically mobile technology promotes language scholarship with unparalleled benefits in extending time and space, enriching learning interactions, and improving learning competence. Now, when you talk about an Indian family in a country like India, and you talk about an average Indian family, you will find a mobile phone is a more preferred device for study because of its compactness and affordability. When you compare it with other devices like desktops and laptops and tablets, you will find they are much more expensive than a mobile phone. And a mobile phone, a very simple mobile phone with all the basic things which usually we require to study are available. It serves the purpose. Now, the paper is trying to identify the advantages of mobile learning and the challenges usually faced by the learners in learning. And this paper also is investigating the reasons for mobile technology becoming so popular and why mobile tutoring is a revolution in the how it will become a revolution in the years to come. I hope I'm audible to everybody.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You're audible, ma'am. You're clear.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I'm proceeding further. Ma'am, how much time do I have?
Ma'am, you continue, ma'am. No problem. I'll let you know.
Okay. I'll take 10 minutes to do the needful, ma'am. Now, when you talk about the mobile technology, it has revolutionized the entire education system, especially in a country like India. And we know that India is definitely reaping its benefits quite late because the technology in our country reaches quite late, and this has actually, been the reason why we are reaping its benefits so late. But on the contrary, the benefits that we are reaping out of it are tremendous. And you know that learning has become very simple because mobile phones are manageable and they are affordable by all the stakeholders, that is the learners. Now, when you go further, you find that this technology was otherwise quite away from the Indian families, but then when the pandemic hit all over the world and it affected our country as well, the classroom teaching, it was forced to be shifted to online teaching. And we had online class sessions, we had all the cultural competitions and oratory competitions and all the meetings which otherwise were being conducted in a room and you required physical presence, now changed into a virtual presence. And this was all being done at an experimenting mode. But then this was being experimented, and this was one new way of filling the void of the physical presence and the physical meetings that we otherwise had. Now, we are new to this, but then all of us in a year, we have all become quite known to it, and we are still exploring many more things. So when you talk about the M technology or the mobile learning technology, it facilitates simple yet very effective and result-oriented learning. And mobile tutoring is accessible to all the corners of the country because it's a device that can be carried anywhere you wish to take. Now, when you talk about why it can be taken anywhere, I would like to give you a definition, which I picked up from the IB. Define it as mobile technology is a technology that goes where the user goes. That's basically is the attraction that makes it such a popular device to be used by mostly the people all across the globe, right? And especially in India as well. It consists of a portable two-way communications devices, computing devices, and the networking technology that connects them. And the biggest advantage of this device is clearly explicated in the definition that I just mentioned. It's been explained that it is a device that can travel wherever you are. Only the requirement is internet connectivity, a good internet connectivity that would serve purpose. Now, another definition I would like to give you is mobile learning is as any service or facility that supplies learner with general electronic information and education content that aids in acquisition of knowledge regardless of location and the time. And it's a definition given by Lehner and Noaskable in
Excuse me, ma'am, your voice is breaking.
This actually explains why it is such a popular device in the country. Am I audible now? Is it audible now?
Yeah, it's
Hello?
audible now, but still in between it's breaking, ma'am.
Oh,
Your voice is a little breaking.
Achha. Okay, ma'am. Okay. Please let me know whenever it's breaking, ma'am, because I am in the internet connectivity, but maybe the fluctuation is giving it a problem. All right. Okay, there's
Yeah, sure.
another, yeah, ma'am, another mobile learning device is a podcast. This is becoming a very popular device, and I think so. All of you who are present in this virtual classroom, I think so. Everybody has made use of this podcast, which is being used by educators and the teachers and people who would like to, impart education using this particular device as well. So I'm not going to speak more on that, but then I would like to move ahead, and I would like to tell you that mobile learning is a device which has, it has established new way of learning, and time constraints which are otherwise are responsible. Like, when you go to a school or when you go to a college, there are time durations to which you are staying in a place. But mobile learning has eroded all these things. It has really made it easy for all of us to sit anywhere, anytime, and pursue your learning. And this has also it has helped because also you're not required to sit at home. You are only required to have a continuous internet connectivity, and it can travel with you in your car, it can travel with you in your vehicle, it can travel anywhere that you wish to go. Definitely, the mandatory element of mobile learning is the internet connectivity. All right. So the compactness and the transportability has really facilitated its use, and it has become a new way of learning, and it is a new tutor that I am trying to explain it over here. So with a mobile, we are able to connect, we are able to communicate, we are able to collaborate, and we are able to make use of the tools which are available for us for completing the assignments or completing our classwork that are otherwise there. There are so many applications available now which the schools and the colleges are using for imparting the education, because we have to fill the void of not attending physical classes. So this is what is about the mobile device. Now, there are many benefits, or the many merits of using a mobile device. For example, um, it is a relatively inexpensive device, which I have mentioned earlier as well. Then, when you make use of a mobile, there are so many things, there are so many tools which are available which can be used for content delivery and creation options. And then, using a mobile helps us in continuous and situated learning support. It decreases the training cost. It is potentially a more rewarding learning experience because we really enjoy on a mobile, because it's a shift from the regular physical classes to a device which is portable and affordable by all of us. Then it has helped in improving the literacy, numeracy, and participation skills of the learners. I think so. All of us have experienced that our children are attending classes, and there are a lot of changes in them. There are a lot of learning activity has happened, which has helped them to, go ahead of us. So I look at my children going ahead of me because they are studying, they are taking the education, the entire teaching learning for the last 1.5 years is going on on this particular device, and it has really helped them to grow. Okay, then using the communication features of a mobile phone as part of larger learning activities. So we have actually not only this mobile has helped us in improving our individual identity, but it has also helped in helping in the others as a group activity. It has also helped everybody to grow and get themselves polished, and they have become seasoned now. Okay, so there are a few benefits which I would like to mention, and a few more that I can discuss is with better technological advancement in mobiles, what will happen? The features that we are using, otherwise they will keep on growing, and we will be able to keep on reaping the benefits. All right. Now, what are the challenges which otherwise people face when you are using a mobile device for learning? Now, every coin has two sides, the good and the bad. So there are few challenges, and there are few things that otherwise, or few disadvantages that are a reason because why few people are unable to reap the benefits of mobile technology, like technical challenges and socio-economic factors. They really regulate the usage of mobile learning. And when you talk about the teaching learning, it has really affected it. So if a person is unable to afford a mobile phone, then definitely they will not be able to reap the benefits of it. The socioeconomic factors, like for example, it influences the capacity to buy a mobile phone, and it also creates a digital divide amongst users. Now, some people can afford a better phone, some people can not afford that much, some are using a very highly configured mobile phone, so their usability and their way of completing their work, all that also is affected. So that's one of the very important factor. And when the country which has been hit with the pandemic, what has happened, the expenditure is affected. So many jobs are lost. Definitely, it has affected the people, and parents and families are really suffering because of all this. This definitely has created a digital divide. Then, in many areas, many remote areas, we do not have any internet facilities. That also is one of the reasons why this is one of the challenge and a disadvantage when you're talking of mobile phone learning. Then the content security and the authenticity, the frequent change in the mobile model, and the functionality of a mobile phone. Then what should be the correct age of using a mobile phone? That is something, a biggest question that also worries me and every other parent, because now our children who are very small are now exposed to this device, and definitely there are many problems which are associated with mobile phone. The radiations are there, and the continuous exposure to the small screen is also one of the reasons why this is also one of the challenge and a disadvantage for a mobile technology. So these are few reasons that we need to still overcome, and we need to really see to it how it can be worked upon, and how we can come out with something nice and good for the people who are using it, right? So these technical reasons are a handicap, and socioeconomic factors are a handicap for uh, mobile learning as a tutor. Now, I would like to conclude by saying that mobile learning definitely has emerged as one solution to multiple problems faced by the education sector, and it offers variety of tools and resources always available for personalized learning. It has definitely made students learn individually, but also it has augmented the learning process in groups, and it has really benefited the group learning as well. So, what it provides plenty of opportunities for formal and informal learning, both inside and outside the classroom. And we find that mobile has definitely, because of its affordability and its portability and its transportability to any place that you wish to do, it has really helped in the learning, teaching learning process. And last but not the least, I would like to quote Yusuf Mehdipour and Hamidia Zahrkafi. They have suggested, in an epoch where humanistic values are decriminating and vision towards social progress is disintegrating, a need to promote responsible education and learning is more crucial than ever. The advent of mobile phones presents a great opportunity and offers a timely challenge to redefine and transform educational paradigms, unquote. Definitely in this new era, in this new mobile technology, which is used by all of us, we are reaping its benefits, but there is still a long way to go. The education sector is revolutionized because of this particular device, and it has really filled the void of physical classes. And I believe that's why I titled my paper as Mobile Learning, a New Learning Tutor. So that's where I end my paper. Thank you very much for listening to me patiently.
Thank you so much,
Any
ma'am.
questions?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to ask the presenters to raise questions on this topic. Presenters, any participants, any questions on this topic? Presenters, participants, any questions on this topic? Okay, thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I would like to call Ms. Jeba Selvi M. To present the paper on the topic, How Recent Trends Shape English Literature, a study on young adult literature. Jeba Selvi, ma'am.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Are you going to present the PPT, ma'am?
Yes, yes. Just a minute.
Yes, thank you.
I have trouble uploading the PPT. Uh,
In the beginning, it started your presentation, ma'am. It's shown. You just try again, ma'am.
uh, okay, I start with the presentation without PPT.
Ma'am, your voice is echoing.
Yes, yes. Can I start without sending PPT?
Yes, yes.
Good morning. My topic is about how recent trend shapes English literature. It's a study on young adult literature. Um, what is young adult literature? Young adult literature is meant for teenagers from aging from 12 to 18 years. Of 18 years. These types of literature is mainly targeted for adolescents, but there are adult readers also. The subject matter and journals of young adult correlate with their age and experience of the protagonist. The general journals available in young adult are expansive and include most of those found in adult fiction. Common themes related to young adult includes friendship, first love, relationships, identity, stories, and that focus on specific challenges of youth, are sometimes referred to as problems novels or coming of age novels. Young adult fictions was developed to soften the transition between children novels and adult literature. It comes between children novels and adult literature. The next, how modern media affects literature. Um, uh, Modern literature been affected by upcoming social medias, growing up technologies. It helps in promoting the exchange of ideas and to assess vital information to us to assess vital information. It helps to analyze the literary work very easily. Um, the Next is e-booking and other digital forms of written literature are also become very popular. Social media also includes blogs, virtual worlds, social networks like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Also it helps in popularizing the novels. Um, because the young adults in the beginning, it has no place in library itself. As years passes, about around 70s and 80s, it starts to it has a separate self in the library. Before that, even parents itself didn't allow young adults to read those books because it's like a taboo. Um, taboo topics to being read by these peoples. As the improvement of technologies and um, improvements of social media, it gains its reputation. And many of the novels also been adapted in movies and TV series. Um, TV series and also been popularized over the time. It's been said in a research. It's been said average 22% of the time, an average person will visit a blog and pages every day. It shows it helps in by developing the young adult literature as years passes. And using modern technology is also very faster and inexpensive. Um, a young adult in 21st century helps even writers to talk about the issues of present generation and even before earlier stages also in before technologies as well as in present generation. For example, I have chosen a rainbow novel, Fangirl, and this novel talks about the of a girl who is addicted to the internet and how it is affects her personality and how she overcomes in the end. It's all about that novel. And when come to Angie Thomas, The Hate You Give has an example of it's just a replica of George Floyd incident. It talks about African apartheid, Afro-Asian thing, and on the come up, Angie Thomas on the come up novel is talks about a young adult, and the protagonist is very talented in music, and it is because of the social media her talent has been criticized and been mocked on the internet all over, but she gained her confidence by exploring her talent through same internet itself. Um, Most of the novels help to expose the reality on the ground in developed nations. It creates awareness about apartheid policy and human rights and how human has been ill treated and so on. And even many writers have been produced some of their works through Instagram and Twitter. And even small storyline also gained 900 tweets in 2008. And I conclude that social media has considerable extent and promote a reading culture and increase access to the English literature. Thank you.
Ma'am, your voice is not audible.
Voice is not audible.
Yeah.
The, the trends of social media have led emergence of new writers. Social media is a forum that encouraged the growth of writers who use social media sites such as ebooks, blogs, Facebook, internet, Instagram and Twitter to expose their literary works. Older writers also adopting the culture of social media to promote their writings and to increase their readership. Social media also provides an opportunity for writers and readers to connect and communicate. Moreover, literary works can be reviewed and individual may discuss various issues through social media. Um, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram also used as an instrumental in mobilizing people against social voices. Um, and social media and networking are also useful tools for discussion and analyzing among scholars of English literature. And digital media also proves to be important in improving access and academic analysis of English literature. Uh, Studies that could previously take much time and work are simplified by increasing access to the literary works through ebooks and audio versions of novels and stories. There are mobile apps like Kindle that helps readers to easily access to the novels of these trends. Mm,
Ma'am, it's
and
time actually.
okay. In my paper, I conclude by saying, yeah, through social media, the uprising new kind of genre is also being improved. Um, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Uh,
I would like
yes.
to ask the participants to raise questions on this topic. Any questions? Okay, thank you, ma'am. Now we will move on to the next presentation on the topic remarkable and unremarkable repercussions of e-learning in English language and teaching and learning process by Hema Harry.
Yes, ma'am, I am here, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, are you going to present the PPT?
I can share, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
Can you see PPT, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay. I am Hima Hari from Department of English, Carmen College, Mala. I would like to present my topic, remarkable and unremarkable repercussions of e-learning in English language teaching and learning process. Communication is the key aspect of the language. All creatures are communicated in different levels. Their communication strategies are varied in form, nature, attitude, and function. During the present scenario, e-teaching and learning of the language is absolutely a hardest task. Transferring data or information through e-learning process is a challenging situation now. Successful communication is possible only when the subject matter is clearly and logically transmitted from the sender to the receiver. Reflexivity is a significant feature of the human language communication process. This ability helps a person to reflect on or identify all the meaningful purposes of a language. The natural connection between linguistic aspects and its meaning is very important in the communication level. This pandemic demands remarkable and unremarkable repercussions of e-learning in English language teaching and learning process. E-learning of English language. E-learning is focused on learning through electronic platforms, maybe computers, tablets, mobile phones, etc. So English language learning through digital platforms creates positive and negative impacts to students. English language learning is also mainly concentrated on four skills of a language. A listening skill, we have speaking skill and reading skill, and also writing skill. So in classroom interaction, speaking is used as a means of instruction. Giving explanations or giving advice, clarity of expression, production of sounds and words in e-learning process of English language is obviously a difficult task. Lack of adequate network facilities, hesitations, repetitions, contractions used in the language learning creates incomplete utterances to the learners and educators equally. It is often said that graphical letters and words are losing their significance in our digital world. Poor listening of e-learning process results in incomplete, incorrect, and inconsistent responses. Another key skill of a language is reading skill. It is also seems to be a complex task now. Let us discuss the role of a teacher in present scenario. Teachers express a sense of responsibility and care to their children. They cure a universal appeal and impact on the learners. They have to understand culture difference and language variations and use appropriate variety in teaching context. They maintain clarity of expression and ensure a genuine feedback. They can disseminate the information according to the demands of a learner. Traditional classrooms are transformed into digital platforms now. A successful teacher is always clear about the role and function of teaching process. She uses right expressions in her classroom climate. Face-to-face classroom interactions is more effective than e-learning. Conventional writing-centric language learning programs are not successfully possible in the digital platform. The present scenario demands proficient teachers in technology. Technical skills coupled with good communication skills ensure high educational perspectives for students. Lectures are usual feature of education at all levels. Each lecture spans over a specific time in e-learning. It is arranged according to preset schedule. Now we are facing a time gap between the delivery of lectures, testing, and other evaluation procedures. I would like to conclude my topic. So, during the pandemic, e-learning has emerged as an important resource for the learners all over the world. Students often listen to online lectures as a part of their learning. Online classes also involve a number of hours of listening, teaching. Teachers showed their reflective roles in online teaching. They used number of tools such as audios, videos, podcasts, PDFs, etc. Remarkable advantages can seen in the online education like accessibility of time, space, and vigorous learning environments. Unremarkable repercussions also included in this digital classroom. Some students have misused social media or other sites. Students may face technical issues, continuity problem, lack of physical interaction with the teachers. Thus, we are undoubtedly face remarkable and unremarkable repercussions during the pandemic. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this great opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions on this topic? I welcome the participants to raise questions on this topic now. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Now we will move on to the next presentation. Um, web-based tools for developing writing skills, scoping review by Lian G. Biju. Lian? Lian G. Biju, are you there? Lian G. Biju, are you there in the line? No, ma'am, you're not audible.
Ma'am, am I audible now?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, well, shall I present the screen?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay. Is my presentation available?
Yes, it's visible. It's clear.
Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. I am Lian G. Biju, currently doing my first year PhD journey at B.S. Abdur Rahman Crescent Institute of Science and Technology under the supervision of Dr. S. Vijay Kumar. The topic for my paper presentation is web-based tools for developing writing skills, a scoping review. So I would like to say I would like to say that this is not a systematic review nor a scientific study. I'm only trying to put forth some of the tools that are present in the literature. So I'll begin by with an introduction about technology and writing skills. The role of technology in writing skills have been studied by many researchers. Its benefits are seen across plenty of studies. The studies show that technology can facilitate language learning. These previous studies have tried to understand how technology increases students' motivation, how students produce text, how learners become aware of the writing process, and how organized they produce writings. And they show better paragraph formation when using technology as a tool for writing. So their writings were also seen to be of improved quality and productivity. So for this study, I have referred to a list of journals and chosen articles from Computers and Composition, which is a leading journal related to this field, Computers and Education, Digital Scholarship in the Humanities, Computer Assisted Language Learning, International Journal of Language Education. So for this synthesis, I have almost selected 54 articles on technological integration in writing. These were journals, papers published between the year 2015 and 21. And these are broadly categorized into 5 themes: the integration of technology at the various stages of writing, collaborative writing tools, uh, writing tools for evaluation, tools for providing feedback, and the effect of social media on students' writing. So the first one being the integration of technology at the various stages of writing. I have come across tools that are exclusively for planning and drafting their writing, students' writing. So one is course management systems. In a study which was conducted in the year 2017, it was found that instructors are aware of the potential benefits of using course management systems for particularly developing writing skills, but then they refrain from using these kind of technologies mainly because of their lack of knowledge. The next tool that I have seen in many papers are the usage of blogs for writing purposes. In one of the studies, it was seen that this kind of tool enhances learners' writing and promotes learner autonomy. Then the next application, it is named as AGSub. AGSub, the tool helps learners to create short descriptive subtitles. In the study which used this particular tool, it was seen that students were actively motivated and encouraged uh, in the writing process. Then the next tool, which is ARCAUW, that is augmented reality context aware ubiquitous writing application. This tool was particularly used for this particular study. It was developed by a few researchers, and the tool enabled self-regulated cognition in participants' writing development. Then most of us would be familiar with the collaborative writing tools such as Google Docs and Wiki. Then another tools that were seen used by researchers for writing evaluation are PEG writing and Criterion. This is exclusively for evaluating purpose. Then the next tools which were studied by many researchers were the usage of social media tools such as Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter. Then another tool which is exclusively meant for feedback is the linguistic feedback tool. Then Scholars, online review tool, PeerMark, peer review application, Again, Google Docs is used as a tool for collaborative learning as well as for providing feedback. Another very familiar tool is Microsoft Word, which is used for giving text feedback, and TextMate Snagit for screencast feedback. All these tools were giving positive results. Like students were really happy to use, and they were engaged, they were actively participating when these kind of tools were incorporated into classroom. So I would like to conclude by saying that using web-based resources is a potent vehicle for language learning. Tools that are used in this study are designed to enhance cooperation and assist learners. Students are highly motivated, and another factor which was seen is learner autonomy. These kind of tools not only promote drafting of their writing, it also encourages peer review, assessment, and feedback. Thank you. These are the list of references. These are the articles that I looked into for this paper. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions on this presentation? Dear participants, any questions on this presentation?
No questions, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So we will move on to the next presentation. I'll call upon Praveen Prabhu to present the paper on facilitators' contribution in teaching English during the pandemic COVID-19.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Let me share the slide, ma'am. Okay, I am J. Praveen Prabhu, working as an assistant professor in DG Vaishnav College, doing my part-time research in SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Ramapuram campus. My paper is on facilitators' contribution in teaching English during the pandemic COVID-19. And in this paper, in this research article, the implication of teaching English through various methodologies is to make the learners to communicate, comprehend, listen, and write in English effectively. That provides self-confidence and commitment towards their professional needs, besides the students' personal excellence. It is the responsibility of the facilitator. It is on the hands of the facilitator. So they should be very effective and efficient, so that the facilitators can edify English as a proficiency oriented than the knowledge based subject. Okay, now the next point. English language teaching in the present day scenario, especially the lockdown period, is considered to be one of the most challenging components for the facilitators and also for the learners to convey any sort of information with the support of the technical advancement. Okay, and in the world of technology, education is really an imperative one, which satisfies the requirement of the learners, which is absolutely different from the traditional classroom. And in the traditional method of teaching, that gives importance for lectures, notes, and involuntary memorization and aiming for marks, etc. And like apart from those, it requires more skill-oriented for the development, for the benefit of the students. And now the system has been totally changed, like the recent techniques, and it has been now shifted into cybernetic mode, like online classes, online national and international conferences, webinars, online workshop, online test, e-quizzes, online semester examination, online competition, and virtual farewell, virtual tour, Likewise, it has been transforming into a new shape. But with the implementation of all these things, the facilitator should understand the new technologies and innovative pedagogies in the domain of ELT, which should widen the implementation of new technologies like YouTube, blog, social networking, web-based learning, digital tools like Padlet, Nearpod, Edmodo, Tricidar, Mentimeter, Penzu Diary, QR code, Google Doc, etc. Like this will definitely helpful for the learners for enhancing their English language during this lockdown period, COVID. And the facilitator should handle it proficiently with a base of English for shaping the traits of the learners to grab hold of the career opportunity and evolve it with an outstanding approach. And this particular lockdown period, the learners should acquire some basic skills apart from moral ethics, cooperation, tolerance, self-discipline, learning willingness, and positive attitude. This kind of awareness the student should they should have. It's only on the hands of facilitators as well as from student side. And facilitators should understand that education is the most powerful weapon that can change the world of learners. We should think from their perspective, whether they have all the technical advancements, whether the learners have all the technical advancements. And if they have any technical issues, we should understand from their perspective and should resolve the issue. These are all on the hands of facilitators. And it is a powerful weapon. Even online classes in the pandemic, learners should realize that it is a powerful weapon in education that shape themselves, so that the facilitators should understand the reality and keep the learners of English language. And we should make them as make this particular process as a thought-provoking process. And moving on to the next one. The combination of digital technologies and English language learning has now become most effectual and groundbreaking technique. It creates a kind of a paradigm shift in the arena of ELT. Yeah, like before online session, on-campus classes, there also we had the technological advancement, but now everything has been totally changed, like fully focusing on the technological advancement. So it is one of the newfangled methodology which definitely progresses towards enlightenment and empowerment. The paradigm shift, no, it's a kind of a catalyst. One of the funniest paradigm shift I can tell is 2020 match. It breaks the paradigm of one-day international match. The same thing in the arena of ELT, the e-learning was there with updated technologies even in on-campus classes, but now everything, like in all the places like online classes, it has become a paradigm shift. It's spreaded all over the globe by breaking the routine of attending on-campus classes and in the field of education. That transforms and it creates a new thinking in the field of education. And moving on to the next one. Yeah. Next point. Facilitator should be more creative and intelligent, not only resourceful by knowing to access different technology. They should be student friendly in accessing various online meeting platforms like Skype, Google Hangouts, Google Meet, Zoom, GoToMeeting, FaceTime, Microsoft Teams. Like there are so many devices emerging during the period of lockdown, like Clubhouse and other social networks in the field of cybernetics. Everything has been technologically developed a lot. And in the 21st century virtual classroom, the teachers are facilitators of learners learning, and they are the creators. Yeah, we are the creators of dynamic classroom environments in which the learner can enlarge their skill with they require habitually in the domestic as well as workplace environment. Okay, maybe they may feel like it's so user-friendly in accessing online classroom, but they should also get benefited and improve their skill for their workplace environment. And the learners of English language who exceed in academics, majority deficient in handling some abilities like teamwork, decision making, and stress resistance and some etiquettes. They should learn these qualities. And blogging has become a quite admired in the realm of education to share information and generate discussion. And similar YouTube videos also related to English language learning components can also be used in the ELT classroom. And facilitators can make the students, the learners, to create their own YouTube videos related to ELT. That enhances various aspects of English and interest towards the learners, particularly accent, vocabulary, pronunciation, and intonation, creative ability, communication skill. It develops each and every aspect. That is my point of view. And teaching English through new technologies, these particular new technology for the millennium learners should be inculcated plentiful crucial factors. Obviously, it brings enthusiasm at the virtual classroom. It not only for the learners but also for the facilitators. So we need to support the learners to handle the new technology. It is like a two-way process. With the support of the learners also, the facilitators can develop their ability. And let me quote the quote from NCTE. According to the NCTE, the 21st century learners should achieve ability with the tools of technology that widen the relationship with others in resolving the problems and sharing information. It deals with and combine numerous synchronized information. Obviously, the technological apps, it helps synchronized information. It maintains ethical responsibility in the intricate surroundings. So in my point of view, I can say the facilitators must provide new teaching pedagogy that are completely different from previous centuries' traditional classroom rather than the online classes. And the e-learning, it plays an important role. It attracts the learner's attention towards English language by playing numerous videos in online session and making them to come out with numerous videos. That also helps learners to show their interest towards English language learning. And the practices of the digital medium in the classroom, it has been provided conception with eagerness and enjoyment towards the process of learning. And this is the time to conclude my presentation. The sustenance of the facilitators would enhance the ability of the learners to the greater level of competence, which would establish them in their profession. Because the virtual mode of conducting the classes, it creates a rich environment for language learning in the most effective way, which makes the learners to come out with various potential. That is the point I want to tell here. With various potential, even in online class, like on-campus classes, we might miss out some potential from the students. But in online classes, we could identify. So the resolution of the facilitators is not to create the learners in his own image, but to develop the learners who can create their own image. So this kind of a promising ideology the facilitator should have, and facilitators should should give a way for the learners to come out with new teaching pedagogies. It breaks the routine. It breaks the routine and creates a kind of a paradigm shift, obviously different from traditional classroom. So learning English virtually during the pandemic, it addresses the explicit learning objectives, and it also oriented towards the learner's point of view. Thank you so much for giving me a wonderful opportunity in presenting my paper. Thanks a lot for everyone.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
I would like, thank you, sir. I would like to call the participants to raise questions on this topic. Any questions?
No questions, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we will move on to the last presentation. The topic Role of Modern Teachers by Rituparna Datta.
Yes, ma'am. Should I share screen?
Yes.
Ma'am, is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. So, hello all. Good morning. I'm Rituparna, and I'm from Patrician College of Arts and Science, and currently pursuing masters in English. So, my topic is all about roles of modern English and teachers. Uh, so, moving on to the introduction. I believe that the duty of a teacher is priceless and unavoidable, whether it's the mother who shapes the clay of her child's life or a mentor like Socrates who is sentenced to death. So, and like many of us know who is Socrates and how he died, and he was against of democracy, and actually he died because of the people and the way he wanted his youngsters to lead their lives. Okay. So, English teachers are significant performers in the process of teaching and encouraging students to learn English as a language and literature. Modern English teachers take responsibility of exploring new educational methods to enable blended learning with full swing. A teacher is a mentor who helps students to acquire knowledge, competence, and virtue. Yeah, India is a great land of saints and gurus like Tiruvalluvar, Chanakya, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, and Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. They influence a wide range of scholars in India and throughout the globe, as they focused on the rational upbringing of mankind and social reformation. As Chanakya, an ancient teacher, economist, and author of Arthashastra, quotes the following line, and I'm quoting. Education is the best friend, and an educated person is respected everywhere. Education beats the beauty and the youth. And the word teacher come from the verb teach, which is Old English, and it is being used since 9th century. And moving on to the next topic, the purpose of study and hypothesis. So I'll first discuss about purpose. It's like the purpose of this study is to highlight the roles of English teachers and how to enhance and improve blended learning in conventional classrooms and also on e-learning. Education is the backbone of any country, so how a teacher should bestow the lessons through easy access and resources. As we all know, the 21st century has been called the century of science and technology, where one of the greatest invention is internet that plays a prominent role in the advancement of technology, and apps like mobiles app or maybe like some kind of softwares are the part of this technological revolution. But uh, due to the uh, due to COVID-19 outbreak, people are being caged, led to reinforced lockdowns, and college are shut to break the chain of transmission. And the education is the backbone of any country, which is brutally devastated during the pandemic. And so due to one of the hit sectors is education. In the pandemic there are a lot of teachers and students who find like lot of difficulties to defray or convey or carry their education, and finding areas of interest to generate English learning is it's a motive thing to generate learning and to enhance more English learning among students, because like in today's people or maybe students, they are not much interested in learning things. They are more interested in like virtual world, like TikTok, MX Takatak, and there are a lot of things, you just name it, and the code people and the like other people, they will just lend it all those things. So we have to bring people students attention to learn English and to find the professional world more. And what is hypothesis? A teacher is the role model of the youngsters, so it became an important duty to English teachers to bring students' interest in learning English to face the professional world. As I said, yeah. But I would also mention that modern science lifted teachers and students and made education more accessible to millions of students, and uh, to teachers bestow their lessons and how students learn. It's also a depend on the way of teaching the students, and it depends on the teachers or professors. Okay, so moving on the findings topic, I found that a recent survey reveals that digital domination was reported as a challenge both for teachers and pupils. E-learning carries disadvantages too because of the rural broadband gap. Some teachers and students are left behind in the digital age. For them, online classes became a big challenge. In addition, there are many disparities between wealthier school and colleges and poorer school and colleges. And but this pandemic couldn't deprive teachers from teaching. Rather, they own over pandemic by finding unique ways, I would say, because like there is a teacher from a remote village in Karnataka state who built tree house to enhance the internet access more and to carry on his daily classes. And like the crux of giving a proper place to English in school curriculum is still not tackled because students find English learning is a boring task and they don't like that traditional or faulty translation come grammar that students like always find it boring or puzzling one, and sometimes they got biased by the teaching methods of old grammatical books, and students are pessimistic sometimes on learning English, and also they don't respond properly. So what happens is like the entire lecture or the session becomes null and void. And so students are pessimistic because of this, and sometimes they just like what I found being a student, I saw that they will just go through the link, they will open the link, they will give their present, and then they will move on, they will go somewhere, and they will just walk around or they will roam around, and suddenly the teacher will ask, are you there, and nobody will respond at all. So this shows that they are very pessimistic and they are not they are not interested in learning things. In even in conventional classrooms where we were in four walls of classroom, like people or maybe students where they are sitting in the bench, but they will be like lost in somewhere else. So the same thing happens in online classes. They will open the link, they will come, and suddenly they will go around, and if the teacher asks if are you there, they will say that they will not be there to answer anything, and the excuses will be internet issues, ma'am, this that. So I saw that, and for that reason I would go with sir, that particular sir who said, Jayachandran sir, today's session. He said that he asked his students to click the hand button maybe in spare of time or maybe in 15 minutes again and again, so that he can see this like who all are the students is like uh, in the class, and who he's like who went around. So I would go with his methodology is like really good one. And I would say that why it happening that they are so pessimistic and they don't want to learn English is like 1000, I mean this India, our India country has more than 1000 languages and many dialects. So everyone likes to speak in their native language, and instead of practicing English language in schools and college classrooms. And a recent research shows that due to pandemic, teachers and pupils were reported that digital domination is a big challenge, and 93.4% of students and teachers felt that quality education has been compromised due to online learning, and 75% reported that the excessive using of machinery items hiked their mental stress. They felt isolated, and 12% of respondents felt suicidal and purposeless. Yeah, they are feeling isolated. Since I too feel isolated, because where we were in classrooms and we were talking to everybody, discussing the like recent topics and getting a lot of ideas, but now like sitting in a particular room and going through all those links and talking very like feel so very isolated and nobody is near to us and remotely we are sitting and learning things. So it's very irritating or maybe puzzling one. And in the modern day, uh, some teachers feel like dubious and hesitate to become internet savvy, which makes students more reluctant to learn English. So I would say these topics in findings. And moving on to do's and don'ts that teachers should not do. Like it depends on teacher actually, but what I feel personally is like personality development matters a lot, and it is already included in our academic purposes for academic purposes. And personality development promotes a standardized approach for improving personality. And it's like a teacher is also someone who lends a hand to personality development. So facing the reality of the world, before facing the world, you should gain some knowledge and you should attain some basic ideas in yourself to face the reality. So I think personality development is the one which is like gonna help you more. So it is also included. And teaching to respect others point of view, yeah, a teacher should respect others point of view. A student should respect all the views without being defensive, and be non-partial and student friendly. I saw in my school time that some teachers, they if they like some students, they will just go with them, and or maybe they will listen to them, or maybe if nothing is there in the paper, they will just give good marks since they love that particular student. So you should not do that. You should be neutral to everyone, what I believe. And teaching virtues of dignity and formal dress, yeah, dress matters a lot. I mean, you can't wear something to somewhere. It matters, a policeman wears a khadi because it matters for police attire. A doctor wears green or maybe white because dress matters a lot. Such and also formal dress for teachers, like wearing sari shirts and jeans. But you should not wear draped jeans because it feels that you are not too much devotional to your work. So this is what I feel believe a teacher should do. And what you should not do is like bullying and comparing with other students. It's like there are also some teachers who are very professional and never look from a student's perspective. Their only motto is to make the student only pass. In this way, the main aim of teaching is neglected. So I would say that a teacher should promote anti-bullying and anti-assaulting campaign. And partial, yes, as I said, that partial and very strict should not be there. I mean, he or she should not be very partial and very strict. He should be student friendly. And egoistic and unconscious, and labeling and defamation, it's like comparing with other student is like affects students mind. So you should not compare a student with another student. You should say that yeah, you can do with like you can do more, or you maybe can do better than that particular student. But you should not defame a particular student. It affects their psychological thought process. And also it's like they feel that maybe they feel pessimistic to do something or go forward in their life. Yeah, so these are the do's and don'ts. And moving on to the conclusion, it's like this paper focuses on the role of English teachers in the modern day and also pours light on improving the education system. And also, if you want to bring students' attention in learning English, you should go with like such works. Like I'm gonna mention those: excursion, dramatizing and acting, role play, assessment, watching movies, reading novels by suggesting them an interesting book, and reading specific chapters can make them get a positive motto. Students may become familiar with the story and gradually develop an acquaintance with the text, which may help them more in learning. So yeah, if you want to bring your students attention, you should do all those stuff. Just reading or just dictating all those particular topic is not gonna bring their attention for particular topic which is you are gonna teach. So you have to go with those methods if you want to bring students interest on you and even in the topic. Yeah, so as former president of India, APJ Abdul Kalam describes, and I'm quoting, teaching is a very noble profession that form the character, caliber, and future of an individual. If the people remember me as a great teacher, that will be the maximum honor for me. So these are the few points for conclusion, and moving on to the bibliography, like these are the few links, and one of them like article which I referred to make my paper. So yeah, thank you all, and this is I wanted to say. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ritu. I invite the presenters and participants to raise questions on this topic. Any questions?
No questions, ma'am.
Others, any questions? Okay. Thank you all for joining us today. I thank all the presenters and the participants.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, I am R. Soumya. I am the last presenter for this session, ma'am.
What's your name, ma'am?
Soumya, ma'am. Soumya and Sneha. Modern Trends in Teaching English Literature.
Okay, ma'am. We'll go ahead and proceed.
Okay, ma'am. Hope my screen is visible.
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. I'm R. Soumya, B.Ed from SPG College of Education, and my co-author is R. Sneha, 3rd BA English from Kaveri College for Women. Our topic is Modern Trends Teaching English Literature. E-learning. E-learning or electronic learning can be used with the advanced technology, that is electronic gadgets like computers, tablets, and mobile phones with internet connection. The term e-learning was coined by Elliot Maisy in 1999. English is a solitary language and the people read books in English only with the interest, and nowadays, learners learn their subject with the e-learning techniques. In this paper, we mentioned about the modern trends in teaching with internet, e-books or electronic books, blog, social media, YouTube, virtual meeting, podcast, online courses, etc. Internet. Internet consists of various articles, courses, meetings, etc. The instructors can send tasks, tests, and messages to the learners through internet. Nowadays, schools and colleges are connected with the network for preparing their projects and materials. And during the present situation, many schools and colleges are conducting exams only through the online mode. By using this online medium, the instructors can motivate the learners to learn English by using the app.
Ma'am, your voice is not.
Ma'am?
Continue, ma'am. Continue. Nothing.
Okay, ma'am. There is an app called Spelling Bee. It is a website used by the learners to learn English. E-book. E-book or electronic book is a computerized document with the arrangement of text with the pictures, and it can be read only in the electronic medium. E-book was first started by Peanut Press in the last part of 1990s, and during that period, it was not acknowledged by the publishing industry. Then later, e-book was launched by Sony Corporation with e-reading gadgets in 2006 and by the Amazon with the name Kindle in 2007. E-books has both a facility of reading in the online and in download form. These are some of the e-book websites. Blog. Blog is one of the online platforms in which a person can share his thought and start a conversation with the others. By this, a learner can gain experience with the different types of people. Social media, which plays an important role in teaching of English literature, and now it became a critical factor with the advantage of English writing. Some writers publish their works in the Instagram and Twitter. For this, An example, Nicholas Ballards published his work in the Twitter with the 900 tweets in 2008. YouTube can be utilized as a tool in English language teaching. By using YouTube, the learner can improve their vocabulary, accent, pronunciation, voice modulation, etc. By seeing the videos, the educator can motivate the learner by providing the videos of the ordinary people who can communicate in the English. Through this, listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills can be developed. For example, the speaking ability of the learner can be improved by playing the movie clip without a sound and ask the learners to narrate the story. Virtual meetings provide the limitless potential for the educator and the learners to team up with each other from any part of the world. This provides opportunity for the learners to learn the language and to improve their skills. By using the virtual meeting, anyone can read, present, perform their skills to the different learners. Taking the present situation as example, many conferences, competitions, webinars, and various other programs are conducted using this virtual meeting apps. These are some of the virtual meetings apps. Podcast. Nowadays, learners pay attention to music and videos cuts with the internet. Podcast is a computerized media document that can be used in a portable media players and computers with the internet. Educators can download many free materials and ask the learners to watch it for improving their learning skills. Online courses are conducted through the internet. Learners can select the courses according to their interest and they have a schedule for the course. Some examples for the online courses are Swayam, which means Study Web of Active Learning for Young Aspiring Minds. It was launched on July 9, 2017 by the Ministry of Education, and this course offers free printable and downloadable materials, video lectures, discussion forums, and online tests for more than 1,600 courses. PG Patsa is an online portal for postgraduate courses started by the Ministry of Education under NMEICT, which means National Mission on Education through ICT. Under this initiative, over 700 ebooks for 68 postgraduate courses are available for free for the students. Swayam Prabha was started by the Ministry of Education that consists of 32 DTH channels that will telecast the educational contents for 24/7 for the students across India. NTPEL is another project founded by the Government of India and Ministry of Education. This offers various courses in engineering, science, social science, and humanities. I conclude our paper by mentioning that modern trends in teaching provides many benefits for the learners, and nowadays it becomes an unavoidable learning tool in education. We mentioned only few sources, but to be frank, there are many modern trends sources in the internet. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions on this topic?
Well, hearty congratulations and thank you to all the participants for making a wonderful presentation. And I think whether we, the participants, the persons listening to this conference, I think we have each and every one of us has gained some benefit from this conference. Let it be a teacher or a student. We have learned various things by listening to this. So once again, I thank all the presenters for your wonderful effort taken in presenting papers today. And now we shall move on to the first link where we will have the valediction ceremony. So thank you one and all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. I request all the presenters and the participants. We will move on to the link which we have joined for the inaugural session. Thank you all. We will meet you in the valedictory program. Thank you.